is the role of the pigs during the strange encounter between Jesus and the demons. Let us uncover the surprising reasons behind the demons' unusual request to Jesus. The first confrontation between Jesus and Satan culminated in Jesus' triumph over temptation, as narrated in Matthew 2:1-11. Jesus continued to challenge and overcome two of Satan's primary domains, the spiritual realm, by exercising authority over demons stated in Matthew 8:28-34, and the realm of illness, by healing a paralytic said in Matthew 9:1-8. After calming a storm, Jesus and his disciples journeyed across the Sea of Galilee. The next incident, recounted in Matthew 8:28-34, focuses solely on Jesus, omitting mention of the disciples. Upon reaching the other side, in the region of the Gerasene, Jesus encountered two demon-possessed men emerging from the tombs. These men were so violent that no one could pass that way. They cried out, "What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" At a distance, a large herd of pigs was grazing. The demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into the herd of pigs." Jesus said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off, went into the town, and reported all this, including what had happened to the demon-possessed men. The whole town came out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region. Matthew highlights Jesus' authority by addressing the bewildered question, "What kind of man is this?" Jesus, now in the Decapolis, a predominantly Gentile territory, hence the presence of pigs considered unclean by Jews, faced the two demon-possessed men. Mark 5:1-20 and Luke 8:26-39 also report this incident. According to Mark, when Jesus and his disciples reached the region of the Gerasenes, a man possessed by an unclean spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him, not even with chains, for he had often broken the chains and irons on his feet. No one was strong enough to subdue him. Night and day among the tombs and in the hills he would cry out and cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and fell on his knees before him. He shouted, "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me." For Jesus had already said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Jesus then asked him, "What is your name?" "My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many." The demons begged Jesus repeatedly not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding nearby, and the demons begged Jesus to send them into the pigs. Jesus gave them permission, and the impure spirits came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. The pig tenders ran off and reported this in the town and countryside, and the people came out to see what had happened. When they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, they were afraid. Those who had witnessed the event told the people what had happened to the demon-possessed man and about the pigs as well. The people then pleaded with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged to go with him. But Jesus did not let him and said, "Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell in the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and all the people were amazed. Large crowds from Galilee, the Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and the region across the Jordan followed Jesus. The situation was dire because the two men were so violent. No one could pass that way. They were known and feared by the general public. The demons, like Satan, quickly recognized Jesus' status as the Son of God as prophesied in Matthew 2:3-6. This title would later be used by the disciples as they grew to understand Jesus' unique nature as the beloved Son of the Father. However, the demons' acknowledgement of Jesus' identity underscores their recognition that another of Satan's strongholds, the spiritual world, was being invaded and overpowered. The demons' question to Jesus can be both hostile and desperate. In Mark 1:24, it is expressed with fear and animosity. The title Son of God here should be understood in its fullest sense, as the demons recognize Jesus' power and his person. They acknowledge Jesus not only as the Messiah, but as the one who would judge them at the appointed time, as implied in Jude 6. Their question acknowledged that Jesus had the authority to perform this judicial duty, confirming his full identity as the Son of God. The demons seemed aware of a predetermined time for judgment. They shouted, "What do you want with us, Son of God? Have you come here to torment us before the time?" This foreshadowed the arrival of the kingdom and the invasion and conquest of Satan's strongholds, despite the final judgment awaiting Jesus' return in glory. The demons begged Jesus to accept their proposal, which he did. By granting their request, Jesus achieved several purposes: freeing the men from demonic possession, sending the demons into unclean animals, pigs, and allowing the course of events to reveal the true values of the local people. When the demons entered the pigs, the animals went crazy and drowned in the Sea of Galilee. The demons' attempt to avoid eternal punishment led to the destruction of their earthly hosts. Jesus had no reason to refuse their request, as it ultimately fulfilled his purpose. More importantly, Jesus was not sinning by accepting the demon's suggestion. In contrast, Jesus' encounter with Satan in the wilderness was different. Yielding to Satan's demands would have led to disobedience. Jesus rebuked Satan with Scripture and refused to comply. This is the main distinction between the two cases. The demon's request in Matthew 8 did not lead Jesus to sin, whereas Satan's demands were intended to do so. The demons asked to be sent into a nearby herd of pigs, a request not unwelcome to the Jews who viewed pigs and demons similarly. Jesus warned his disciples not to cast pearls before pigs. According to Peter, false teachers are likened to pigs returning to their mire. However, as the eastern shore of the Sea of Galilee was a Gentile area, these pigs were likely raised for the market. Their owners would have been devastated by the loss of such a large herd, estimated by Mark at about 2,000. The demon's request to enter the pigs had a destructive purpose. Demons are known to harm and torment God's creation and stir hostility against Jesus. The destruction of the pigs led the Gentiles to ask Jesus to leave their region. This reaction reveals their perverted values, as they preferred their economic interests over spiritual deliverance. A commentator noted that throughout history, people have rejected Jesus because they preferred their pigs. Jesus did not destroy the demons, but allowed evil to continue until the final judgment. Mark and Luke note that the former demoniac wanted to follow Jesus, but Jesus sent him back to his town to testify about God's mercy. This demonstrated Jesus' mission to the Gentiles and highlighted the people's misplaced priorities. In conclusion, the story shows that Jesus' ministry is not limited to the Jews but includes the Gentiles. It also illustrates that opposition to Jesus is not based on ethnicity, but on one's response to him. The narrative challenges us to reflect on our priorities, emphasizing the need to align our lives with Jesus' teachings. So, when did you first feel the presence of God? Comment below and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to watch other videos, and may God bless you.